Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism, and this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous, and here is her story. Hello, Ollie. It took me a lot of courage to share this story. A lot of what is here has never been shared with anyone. Lately, my mind has been clouded. I have been experiencing some flashbacks from my youth. Some of them are memories that I have been suppressing and that I have forgotten about. Getting basic things done in my daily life has been exhausting for me. I'm trying to get out of this position. Also, I'm from Europe and my first language is in English. Apologies if things are unclear. It is too much to tell everything in one letter, so I will write down pieces of it. I'm a 24-year-old woman. One of my first memories as a kid was when I was 3 years old. My parents were arguing. It turned physical when my father started throwing things at my mom. I wanted to defend her, so I purposefully stood right in front of my mom. I didn't move when he told me to do so, so he threw an apple right at me. I started crying, and my mom said to him, "Don't you dare hurt her." And that was it. It escalated, and my father started beating my mom until her nose was bleeding. All of this was because she had brought his watch to the repairman, and he didn't do a good job. At my 4th birthday, my dad threw a whole dinner at the walls. He made a scene in front of his parents because my mom didn't iron his vest the right way. He hit my mom and then he walked out on us. So he hit my mom and then he walked out on us. The whole kitchen had to be cleaned and the wall repainted because of the stains. When the guests arrived for my birthday and asked where my father was, I had to lie about it and say he had gone out with some friends. That was on your birthday. The lie ain't much better. This was just the start. Later on in life, he ruined several of my birthdays and even attacked me on some for bullshit reasons. So it sounds like my father. My father loved to hit me when I was a kid on my birthday, ruin my parties, hit me at my parties, punch me at my parties, hold me responsible for the other kids at the fucking parties. And I've told the story. There was this one kid, the son of my mother's best friend from college, Christian, and like Christian was one of those kids gay from birth, loud, screamy, acted like a girl and a boy, and my father's like, if I hear Christian screaming, I'm hitting you. It's your job to keep him under control. At my birthday, I think I was like 6 or 7 at the time. Well, how long did that last, before I was getting fucking hit again on my own birthday, crying in my room. Excuse me. We emigrated to Western Europe when I was 5. We were asylum seekers. I had no family around me anymore, and the real hell began. We didn't get our papers for over 10 years, so my parents had no right to work. We also didn't receive any state money because they wanted us to go back to where we came from. Asylum refused. My mother was, for years, the only breadwinner in the household because only she could find under-the-table work as a cleaning lady. This meant my father was always home, and fucked up things started to happen. I had a sister that was 5 years younger than me, and we endured the worst in that house. I have this memory from when I was 8 years old. It was Friday and I came back from school. I didn't want to change from my school clothes to my home clothes. My father got angry and said, "I'll give you one more chance to change them." I stubbornly said no. He said, "Okay, it's your wish then." He grabbed me, started punching me, pulled my hair, lifted me and threw me on the ground, stood on me, and then grabbed my hair again, and grabbed me again by the hair and slammed my face into a hard part of the couch. It all went by very fast, but I still remember my nose getting bent with each hit that I took until I heard a crack and the blood started coming out. He then stopped. I looked at him as I was screaming and ran to the bedroom. He never came to check up on me. I stayed there until my mom came home from work. I'm wondering if you're escaping asylum, I'm assuming you were probably like Polish or Ukrainian or something, right? She was mad at him, and that was it. They never took me to the doctor. My nose grew crooked after that, and I can't breathe properly on one side. I need surgery for it, and I've been saving up. My father was fat, disgusting, lazy, jobless man. Every time that me and my sister came home from school, he was sleeping on the couch. The damn house smelled like garlic because he ate it raw for his health. Oh yeah, he was sick. There was always something wrong with his health. He didn't do shit the whole day, but he was tired, and if we made noise that would wake him, he would threaten us with violence. We had 2 bedrooms in that house. My parents made me sleep in the same bedroom with them until I was at least 11 years old because the other one had mold, which wasn't true. The smell of garlic used to wake me every night. It was just disgusting. And as many of the people here, I had zero privacy, not even in the bathroom. It gave me anxiety for life and a preference for locked doors. They always walked in on me, and they themselves went frequently to the bathroom with the door open, and my mom had no shame in even showering with the door open. Every one of these stories is just like one after another after another. They're all the same. These people are all the same. It doesn't matter if you're in Europe, the United States, Australia, old communist bloc. It doesn't matter. They have the same MO, these people. Even when I was on the toilet, she would just walk in and take a shower in front of me, even when I screamed no. She also insisted on bathing me until I was 12 years old because I couldn't do it on my own. I stopped when I became violent about it. That's the only way you can make it stop sometimes when you're like 12, 13, like you gotta get nuts. You got like, don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking put your hands on me. Don't touch me. My mother is also a monster. Gee, you think? I think we all figured that one out already. She let me put up with that disgusting and violent man of hers. She knew what was going on and is disgusting herself. On the first day of first grade when I was sick, I felt proud of... When I was 6, I felt proud of myself for learning how to write. The teacher was one of the very few that I have seen in my life who was fun and encouraging. We got a small little homework as an introduction. It was just for practice, not for grades. We had to copy 3 small words. When I came home, my mom asked me if I had any homework. I said yes, just something small. I wrote the 3 words and showed it to her. She became angry and she screamed, "What is this? Oh my God, what an ugly handwriting you have. No, you are going to erase it and write it again." She made a huge deal out of it. My O's weren't symmetrical. It was not beautiful, etc. Then she showed it to my father and said, "Look, she's going to embarrass us to the teacher. They will think that we foreigners are stupid." They made me erase and write it over again, over and over and over again. Then I had to practice my writing on another sheet. They were screaming and hitting me the whole night. I was crying and already hated school. My father kept on slapping me. My mother told him to slap me on my left side of the cheek because I was right-handed. They told me I had to put my left hand on my cheek when I was at the desk so my teacher wouldn't see it. Oh my God. They're worried about your handwriting, but not the fucking bruises on your face. That's logic for you. I was sent to bed and my homework wasn't finished because it wasn't good enough. In the morning, they woke me up early and the abuse continued. It just wasn't good enough, so my mom wrote it for me. I was sent to school without breakfast, tired and stressed. When it was time to show our homework, I looked at the writing of the other kids and they had a handwriting that was even uglier than mine, but they were proud about it and confident. From that day, school was no fun, and it was used against me. I had abnormal stress as a kid and was afraid of my scores. On my first test, I had scored 18 points when the maximum was a 20. That meant I had made two mistakes. I was scolded for it by my mother from then on. I was stupid and a failure. I also had to report the grades of other classmates to her. She told me not to hang around with those low grades. When she came to pick me up from school, all she could hear was other mothers talk proudly about the accomplishments of their kids. But with a failure as me, she had nothing to brag about, and she was embarrassed to be my mother, she said. Jesus, we had like almost identical fucking parents. Almost identical parents. See, my mother put me in school at 4 years old when everybody was a year and a half to 2 years older than I was, just to get me out of the house. And then I got yelled at because I didn't color within the lines, and why do I embarrass her? And same thing, same thing. My grades in the first grade were above average, but because I hated studying, I started slipping. At 11 years old, they had to test my IQ because the teachers thought I was stupid. My IQ turned to above average, and they told me it was as high as the best student in my class. I should study more, and I could do better. What I'm about to write now is still a little vague in my mind because I have been suppressing it. My father would play with me and my sister, but not the regular play. It was tickling and kissing on the neck. When I didn't want to play and resisted, he kept trying. If I started to scream or push, he would beat me. I even once kicked him in the balls and had to pay for it with an extra hard beating. When we would want to play with him actual games, we had to give him a back massage. He would sometimes also give us a back massage. I've been having flashbacks of this. I can't enjoy being intimate with my boyfriend because of it. When I was 9 years old, we had, for the first time, actual presents under the Christmas tree like in the movies. I was so happy about it that I went and held them, trying to peek through it. At this time, my father started to have a pain in his ass, literal. He would pull his pants down where we as kids stood by. We had to look away as my mom had to look at his ass what was wrong. This happened several times a day for years on. That his male parts would hurt too. In the middle of the night, it sounds like he had some kind of venereal disease, to be honest with you. Sounds like he's got some kind of fucking STD. Then his male parts would hurt too. In the middle of the night, as we were in bed, my mom had to look at it and started having a tantrum how he couldn't live like this. He also made a scene about all the Christmas presents and how we should be ashamed of ourselves for having so much when there were kids in Africa starving. He completely ruined Christmas from there on. Always bitching about how sick and in how much pain he was. When you would walk in a room, you would find him there with his dick out staring at it. Oh my God. I don't know why he did this. Later on, when you gave him a back massage, you had to look at his behind too and tell him if you saw anything wrong with it because he was in so much pain. I'm ashamed of it. When I was 11 years old, I started going out with my friends in the neighborhood. Everyone was alone except me. There was a basketball field right next to the playground in the center of the neighborhood, and my father came there to play basketball and keep an eye out for me. His ass and his dick wasn't a problem. He could still shoot hoops. Go figure. It was very frustrating. Later on, my sister came to play there also with her friends, Oh, he was there looking at the kids. Fucking pedo. Later on, my sister came to play there also with her friends, and he also had to be there to keep an eye out for her. Of course, when I wanted to be there an extra quarter longer or a half hour longer, I had to give a message. I had to give a back massage in return. I used to think this was normal. One time I had a fight with a friend and he told me, well, at least my father has a job and isn't out here playing basketball. It was embarrassing to have him always around. Oh, God. The creepy dad. Creepy dad around your fucking friends. That's awesome. One time I played with my friends at a spot that my father didn't know. We were throwing grass at each other. When it was time, I went home. Not much later, my father came home from the basketball field angry. It's a basketball court, by the way, not a field. Basketball's played on a court. Football and soccer or baseball are played on fields. He demanded to know where I have been and with who and why there was grass all over me. He was very angry, came in my face, screaming, hitting me, spitting on me, and banging my head against the wall. I was telling the truth, and he didn't believe me and kept on beating me. Because he was afraid you were going to go tell somebody what was going on. He was always watching me, and then at home making remarks such as, I saw you biking, and from all your friends, you looked the dumbest. You can't ride a bike for shit. I started getting bullied at school and had no friends. One of my classmates held a birthday party. My father was at the basketball field and my sister was also there. I wasn't invited because of the bullying. I also didn't tell my parents that I was getting bullied because it would have been used against me. I was at home watching TV that day and he kept coming home asking me why I wasn't there and everyone was there and I should go too. I gave in and went there. I kept biking through the neighborhood on my own and getting laughed at by my bullies when they saw me. When my father came looking for me and said, why aren't you hanging out with them? I thought to myself, it isn't clear that I'm excluded. Isn't it clear that I'm excluded, you dumb fuck? I said that I had found a new friend and we're playing hide and seek. She can be anywhere in the woods, so don't scream at me. She will hear. Then he walked away. Angry. Of course, there was no friend. I was alone pretending. I'm going to wrap it up here because it's getting too long. There is much more to tell, and I'm going to save it up for another time. Thank you for all you do. It has been a light in my life. I don't even know really. We have heard so much of your story and other people's stories and my own. When you're raised by narcissists, you're always alone pretending. That's the problem. Because you're afraid you're going to be attacked, you're going to be used, anything you said is going to be made fun of, is going to be... You just want to shut off. And that's where you go through life. You pretend. You're always alone and pretending when you're being raised by narcissists. Always. That's the sadness of it. That's why so many of us are here years and decades later. Is to recover from all that loneliness and pretending and abuse, to avoid the mockery and the physical abuse and being laughed at and gaslighted, and you can't get a second's thought of your own. Can't even use the bathroom, take a shower, nothing, not a moment's peace. With all those people in your face, with all that chaos, you still grow up alone and pretending. Very, very sad. Thank you so much, Anonymous, for your contribution and your story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you guys. Without you, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care.